Hi, it's Valerie D'Ambrosio, and welcome to the Conscious Connection Series Part 2, where we're going to be talking about how to really cultivate and really sustain healthy, lasting habits in 2017, where you're manifesting your own reality and what's going to support you best. Today, I am with the outlaw yogi in Denver, Colorado, Justin Kaliszewski, and I totally butcher his name every time. So, Justin, you can
Pretty
you can
close.
say it again.
Pretty
What's
close.
that?
Pretty
Pretty
close.
close.
I would never you. I would just hug you every time. Kaliszewski. You call me whatever you want to, though, honey.
Kaliszewski. And, you know, I probably, whenever I talk about you, I say Justin K. And that's what I probably should just do from now on. And I am so honored to have you here. I had so much fun in our first series talking to you, and everybody that I know that watched the video was just blown away with your wisdom and how genuine you are, your authenticity and your grace and the way you hold and embody your masculine energy. And so I want to invite you today and thank you so much for being here with us.
Well, thank you, honey. And as long as I don't have to live up to all those big words, I graciously accept the kind words. Thank you. It's always an honor. And, you know, I love talking to you, and I love talking. That's the real truth, right? I love hearing myself talk. And when you said you wanted to talk about creation, that really spoke to me, because it's been something I've been sitting with a lot recently. You know, in my mind, every moment is an act of creation. Some of them are conscious.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so that said, I'm curious, how much influence do you believe that we personally have on manifesting, on that actual influence?
100%. 100%. We're always creating. Sometimes we're doing it deliberately. But with every breath, you're making a choice. You know, whether or not that choice is to be switched on and it's a mindful, disciplined choice, or whether that choice is to be ignoring, you know, everything else that's out there, we're still making a choice, you know? So I think 100%, absolutely. We create our realities.
That's powerful. It's super powerful to even know that as a being, that we have that. And so I love that belief. And so in that, what do you think is an essential piece in creating, in manifesting what it is that we really desire?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Val, because I actually have come up with like a step-by-step, if you want to.
Of course you have. I love the way you systematically think and then you teach us, Justin. It's perfect.
I'm not the sharpest, honey. I try to keep it really, really simple, okay? And these steps are simple. That doesn't mean that they're easy, okay? The first step is you got to get clear. You got to get clear on a few things. This last summer, I started practicing archery, right? And I realized no matter how hard I draw that bow back, if I don't aim deliberately at the target, I'll never hit the bullseye. Now, I did fire a few arrows in the neighbor's yard, and I bent a couple and things like that. But I learned, like, the first step to really owning your power of creation fully is get clear. What do you want to be creating? And I have a little mantra for this that's really helpful in my day-to-day. And it just goes like this. I check in and I say, what are you busy creating? Every moment's an act of creation. Right now, what are you busy creating? Are you loving or hating? Are you connecting or disconnecting? You're creating something. And so get clear first on the ability that lies inside you to create, and then get clear on what you want to create with that power that's inside of you, right? And so if you can't see Z, if you're sitting at A now and you don't, Z is amorphous to you, then B is going to be unavailable to you. But as soon as you go, okay, in 3 years, in 3 months, in 3 weeks, I want to be able to do this. Then point B, point C, the step you can take right now, right here, and that act of creation gets really, really clear. So the first step is you got to get clear. And then you know what the second step is, you got to get to work. You know, nothing in this life happens without work. But as soon as you see where you're pointing, then you just take one step after the other. you know, one step, one misstep, fall back, be okay with that. You're going to fall before you fly. That's the third step. You got to get bold. They say, what's that? There's a hackneyed expression that says the first step of any journey is the hardest or something like that. But that's because it's the fucking boldest. The first step that you take in a new direction is the boldest choice for creation that you're going to make, because you don't know what's going to happen. Probably you're going to stumble. You're going to fall. That doesn't mean that you're failing. In fact, I think that falling is a great indicator that you're trying. You know, if you're not falling in life, then you're probably just kind of coasting a little bit through life. You know that. This is challenge by choice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there's times where it's like, no, I'm not going to honor that creative voice. I need to coast right now. I need to receive, restore, and I get that. There's wisdom in that. And then there's those times when you've charged up, you've got really clear, and you've started to take some steps, and that's where you launch out really bold without any fear, and just know that you got to suck, right, before you can shine.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I think the next step is get accepting, because you're gonna fall, you're gonna stumble. If you're challenging, if you're really creating, then you're gonna fuck up some paintings. I started painting a couple years ago, right? And I realized that if I don't always have a canvas sitting on the easel, right, getting really clear, if I don't always have a rinse cup sitting right there, I'll never start a painting. I'll think about starting, but I won't actually start it. And then I realized this too: paintings only get better by adding paint. Take paint back off the canvas and make it a better painting. Same thing with life. We can't go back and fix some fuck up from the past, but we can take a step right now, put a new layer of paint on it, and it will make it better. But I'll tell you what too, in becoming a painter, I fucked up so many canvases. Ruined them, painted over them, ruined them again, throw them away, get a new one, you know? But if you're just afraid to mess it up, then you're just gonna stare at this blank canvas, and you will never turn that possibility into probability. You know, to me, that's what discipline does. Gives us a chance to turn possibility into probability, into probably gonna happen later. And then get together. The final step, I think, is to get together. This will be a short interview. Thank you, everybody. The final step is to get together. So if I tell you, Val, the day I turn 40, I'm moving to Hawaii to open up the Outlaw Yoga Hideout in Hawaii. Now, I've enrolled you in my accountability. And the more people that hear that, the more people that I told, so we just opened an Outlaw Yoga studio in Littleton, Colorado. And as it grew, I found that more and more people were coming together. And the more people I told, hey, we're probably doing this. Hey, I think it's a possibility we could be doing this. All of a sudden, this creation, it grew its own momentum until I was running after it. You know, and if you can create that much accountability in within your community, then it's sort of like people will check in with you and go, hey, how's that children's book coming? I'm going to put a children's book out this spring, The Amazing Adventures of Babu the Elephant.
Yay.
The more people I tell about that, the more definite it becomes as a creative commitment. So those are the steps. They're simple. Doesn't mean they're easy.
I love it. It's so great. It's so great. And truly, I really do appreciate the way in which you use your masculine energy and you systematically set things forth. And I know we talked about that last time. And I do feel like it's really useful, especially for the left brain, to be able to just go, okay, it's one step at a time. It's one foot in front of the other. And there's something else that I love that you spoke about is that, yes, there is this piece of audacious action in moving forward and being bold. And you also spoke about the fact that sometimes there's also a time for non-action. And that time is just as important as well, because maybe that's when we're actually, it's almost like we're sitting and nurturing an idea, or we're sitting in more of the feeling of it or the essence of it, or maybe it's the stillness that needs to occur as well in order to be the yin to that yang in that moment, and to find more balance in that creation. So I'm really glad you brought that up. And again, your wisdom is just so profound. And yes, I know that you say it's so simple, but I think there's so much beauty in simplicity. So thank you for that.
Thank you. No, truly, there is a beauty in simplicity. And you're absolutely right. You know, when I say get clear, to me, how you get to clarity is through stillness. There's wisdom deep down inside of all of us. You polish the mirror, you can see clearer, right? And as soon as you can see deep into you, there's no question. There's just this revelation of, this is what's moving through me. You know, this is what I'm being called to do right now. When I think of our dharma and our duty, you know, and how it relates to creativity, is, you know, you're already perfect. We get that. You know, you have a perfect, pure being within you. But if you see something you want to change, then go ahead and do it. Don't get too attached to it, right? And to the outcomes. But why not be creative with this life? What is this life if not will plus creativity? This is will and creativity gushing together. And it looks like Valerie and Justin Kaliszewski, and you know, it looks like all this wonderful things that we see around us. And without the act of creation continually moving through us, none of that would happen, ever. What was the first thing you mentioned, Valerie, just now? You said something about clarity and masculine energy, and just right before that, you said something
about the way in which maybe you show up, and that's in that essence.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, I might have missed it. It'll come back or it won't. Who knows?
Yeah,
that's the other thing, you know, when I think of creating. So first and foremost, I'm a writer. That's where my natural expression flows. I paint when I'm avoiding writing, and then when I'm avoiding painting, I play music. But for me, I'm first and foremost a writer. And so I always have, just like that canvas that's always there, I always have a document open on my desktop, you know, and I'm always just trying to think, how can I be a clear conduit for consciousness, for creativity to move through me? You know, instead of putting a bunch of pressure on myself, oh, now is the time I write. I'll sit in I have this great green chair that I meditate in, and I'll get really clear. And as soon as something comes through, I have a canvas right there and a file open there and a guitar. If I really want to, I can go to that. And I just let the passion move through me in hopefully a harmonious and organic way. And so I'm always at the ready, you know?
You know, what you're speaking to is really fantastic in the sense of that. Let me bring back in that piece of masculine, because like I said, it's such beauty in your ability to be in your masculine and really logically break things down and to take the action. And then I also love that here you are speaking about these ways in which that you allow yourself to be a conduit for spirit and to let this information to flow through you in a moment-to-moment place, which to me is it's the feminine energy that's beginning to move through you. And the vehicles in which you use are very creative. So you have writing, you have music, and you have art. And so I really want to speak to that because, you know, I'm extremely passionate about the masculine and feminine energies that exist in all of us. And so you allow yourself to be that vessel that just dances between the two very, very beautifully and organically, and you create space to let them flow through you.
If we can, like, what a great segue into talking about David Bowie. Because what was David Bowie, if not the prettiest human to ever walk the face of the earth? But talk about someone who was just open to creativity flowing through him. Just as masculine with a pair of jeans on or his lipstick on. That's how you know a real man, Valerie.
Right.
A real man can wear lipstick and a dress and still be a fucking man.
Yeah. Yeah.
A real man can be okay with the fact that it's not just masculine inside of him.
Right.
You know, a real woman can be okay with the fact that sometimes clarity comes through as a result of confusion, you know? And when I think of creating, when I think of this vision that we're all manifesting, this whatever Z is for somebody. One of the most reliable tricks of the mind is to confuse anybody. And I think sometimes what happens is we get so fixated way out on Z that we lose sight of what B is, because B is almost always right there. It can be taken today. If I want to move to Hawaii, then I can hop online right now and check properties. If I want to open a studio, then I can go right now and look at listings online. There's always one step that's available to you. And if we get locked into, no, this is masculine, this is feminine, this is productive, this is unproductive, this is passion, and this is reason, then sometimes we create more confusion than clarity. And if we just step back and instead of saying, well, why am I like this? Why was David Bowie? And instead we just say, what's available to me right now? What act of creation is available to me right now? Then it opens up a productive step from A to B or B to C.
Yes, totally, totally. What I hear when you speak frequently is you allow yourself to be in the questioning state. And I know that so many people are getting so much from this conversation right now. And one of the things that I'm remembering is, I mean, as a coach, we love to ask questions. That's what we do. And because I believe that everybody knows, I don't have the answers for you. You have the answers. You know, when you tap into your highest self. And the way in which we do that is stimulating our subconscious mind by asking really great quality questions. And so in allowing yourself to be in that place of asking yourself questions, you're led through your feelings and through your own internal guidance system to what's going to support you in that moment. And so thank you for that reminder, because I think that's huge, Justin. And I'm so excited about all the things you're doing. And for everybody here, if you want to see Justin and you're in the Colorado area, or even if you're not, make sure you check him out at his new Littleton studio, as well as I know he's doing a couple of different things in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. And can you just give us a little glimpse of some things that you're offering in the next few months, and a way in which that we can stay in touch with you if people want to be inspired by you more?
Well, that's very kind, Valerie. Lot going on. We did just open an outlaw yoga studio in Littleton, right on Main Street. Really cool spot. I'm sitting in it right now. We have a full 200-hour training happening in Steamboat Springs this summer. You can go to steamboatmovementfest.com, I believe, for info on that. 200-hour in Denver as well. Teacher training, that is. I have a new article on conscious creation coming out in Colorado Yoga Magazine sometime in the next couple months. Gayam just put a really fun podcast up about my Vipassana experience several months ago. But if I could leave you with one thing, and everybody with one thing, Valerie, it's the idea that, just as you said with questions, it's the idea that consideration costs us nothing. It doesn't to consider that we are always creating, to stop and ask ourselves, what are we busy creating? It doesn't cost us anything to consider, I'd like to move a whole different direction in my life altogether, because that's what opens up the possibility inside of us. And we can always consider something and go, nah, that's bullshit. But sometimes consider many things. There'll be one little pearl embedded within those. And without ever asking that intelligent question, as you say, we'll never get to the answer. You're absolutely right. Not in our own way.
Awesome. Beautiful. You are a gift. You are a gift to this world. And thank you so much for shining so brightly, and for choosing to be a vessel for spirit in this lifetime and living it fully. So thank you so much. And until next quarter, I know that we're going to be creating together. So everybody keep in touch for that, to see what Justin and I have going on, and make sure you stay in touch with him for certain. And thank you again so much, Justin.
Thank you, Valerie. Everything back at you, honey. I just love and respect you so much. And I will be thrilled in person soon, but until then, this is so cool just to get to see your shining face and to be able to have this conversation with you. Thank you. And thank everyone for watching and listening. Appreciate you.
We'll be in touch.
Okay.
Bye.
Namaste.